Olá, daqui Joana. Chegou a altura em que vamos ter que tomar decisões sobre o trabalho que fazemos, mas também sobre como nos organizamos e sobre as nossas contas. A equipa do Fumaça vai para o retiro anual em fevereiro. Gostávamos de ir para lá com menos preocupações sobre o dinheiro que temos no banco e se conseguimos ou não bolsas de fundações que nos financiem. Queremos dar mais energia às séries em podcast que temos para publicar este ano. Por isso, vamos lançar a partir de hoje uma campanha para conseguirmos chegar às 2.000 pessoas na comunidade de Fumaça. Dessa forma, mais de 50% do nosso orçamento seria pago por pessoas como tu, que nos ouve e apoia. Ajuda-nos a chegar lá, vai a fumaca.pt/contribuir e faz hoje uma contribuição mensal ou anual. Obrigado.
Olá, eu sou o Ricardo Esteves Ribeiro. Desde 2022, a equipa do Fumaça vai todos os anos a Masafer Yatta, no sul da Cisjordânia, na Palestina. A primeira vez que lá estivemos, cobrimos a decisão do Supremo Tribunal Sionista de transformar esta região numa zona de treino militar. Na peça O que é normal em Masafer Yatta, descrevemos essa tentativa de retirar milhares de pessoas palestinianas das suas casas. Desde essa altura, a violência e o assédio só aumentaram. A partir de outubro de 2023, em particular, colonatos cresceram em tamanho, novos postos foram ganhando forma, colonos passaram a usar uniforme militar e armas mais poderosas. Os ataques, detenções, raptos tornaram-se diários e a tortura nas prisões tornou-se um pesadelo. Hoje falamos sobre tudo isto com Sami Huraini, residente da aldeia de Tuani e membro dos coletivos de resistência Popular Struggle Coordination Committee e Youth of Sumud. Fica com a entrevista, gravada em inglês em novembro de 2023. Welcome to Fumaça.
Thank you.
In October 2022, we published at Fumaça a piece called O que é normal em Masafer Yatta. It would be translated to What is normal in Masafer Yatta, about your community in the south of the West Bank. We met again in Masafer Yatta in 2023 and more recently in 2024, last May. In that time, how has the Zionist colonialism expanded throughout the South Hebron Hills?
You have been visiting us and you saw the situation before 7th of October and after 7th of October. Actually, since 2022, situation is just getting worse and worse. In 2022, we had in Masafer Yatta the decision of the eviction for the villages in Masafer Yatta. So the situation was already bad and already hard and difficult. And it was just going more hard and more harder. Still, every more or less every day, there is the attacks, there is the harassment by the Israeli settlers, there is the harassment by the Israeli soldiers, the demolishing, everything that we are mentioning from daily crimes and daily harassment exists. But it got different and got more harder, especially after October 7th until today. All the attacks, all the harassment, all the stealing of the land and the home demolishing, every single thing became double and triple. It's putting the Palestinian life in a very hard situation and very scary and dangerous situation. A lot of people in general, if you want to speak about the West Bank, settler took advantage because of the situation of the war for the colonial project in order to attack villages and terrorize families and to kick them out from their villages. So dozens of villages in the West Bank have been evicted just since 7th of October until this moment in the so-called Area C in the West Bank, which is 60% of the West Bank. There is a very big danger and very big threat, and just in this recent year, everything before was happening from stealing of land and eviction in a slow program, but after October 7th, a lot of advantages, like settlers start to have the role of the military with military uniform, practicing as they are army, establishing a new expansion of settlements, establishing a new and asking for the military occupation, military for orders to block areas from preventing Palestinians to go to these areas. All this together, it make the life so hard and more difficult for people to live.
What does it mean that the settlers are using military uniforms? What does that mean?
After October 7th, there was this unit that was established by the Israeli settlers who are in settlement. Like, for example, next to my house there is the settlement of Ma'un and the outpost of Habat Ma'un. And there is two settlers that we know from the past who are very extreme settlers, used to attack us and who organize settlers attacks and settlers programs of attacks against us and against our neighboring villages in Masafer Yatta. These settlers are now, after October 7th, with military uniform. They became soldiers and they put in their cars the yellow
siren.
Yes, alarm, and they start to walk, to drive in villages and detaining people, putting a new expansion of settlement as they are military bases. This unit, it is Beni Gvir, the extremist minister, helped in forming it from the settlers to help Israeli army and help Israeli military during the war.
A Zionist minister.
The Zionist minister, yes. And he is also, by the way, yes, he's a settler, and also, besides he's a settler, he's an extreme and killer, and also this is the Israeli Zionist mentality. How much you are more extreme, how much you are more, hate for Palestinian, killing for Palestinian, how much you got a higher score in the Israeli system, in the Israeli government. So you get to be a minister if you are doing such things. So he helped a lot, as we said, as because he is a settler forming this unit, and this unit started to go inside villages in the night, beating people up, breaking their phones if they try to film, threatening them to leave in 24 hours. If they don't leave, that they're gonna come back, and real threat. If the people will not leave, they will come back and beat them and kill them. They wanted to scare people. A lot of communities in Masafer Yatta have been into this program, but luckily they didn't succeed to remove our people.
But they dress like they are soldiers, they act like they are soldiers, but they're not soldiers. When the soldiers come, what do?
Actually, now they have a lot of authority that I was arrested by these settler soldiers in the 31st of August in 2024. This Jonathan Gabay is one settler, and Benny, these two settlers from Habat Ma'un, they called the Israeli police. The Israeli police arrived to the spot, and the Israeli police took me inside the military jeep and then took me inside the settlement and give me back to the settlers, to the settler soldier. And they started to humiliate me and to really torturing and acting really bad and really mean and really scaring me. This is just one example of dozens of examples of this act of the settler soldiers. And one of them, for example, always masked because he don't want to be recognized, that no one will recognize him. But we know him, we know his car, we know him since years, that he is committing crimes against us.
One of the things that is also very real in the differences when you come like 1 year after the other is the change in the landscape Like wherever you look at so many hilltops, there's a new outpost, for example, when compared to last year or to before the 7th of October. So it feels like the settlers are closer and closer and closer to the villages in Masafer Yatta. How is that process taking place there?
At least 7 new big expansion of settlement since October 7th until now, going in Masafer Yatta. The land of the Palestinians is shrinking, and settlers are growing and expanding and taking over more and more land. And remember, this is the area that it was called firing zone area by the Israeli occupation army, it's a whole, this military thing is a lie. It's all a settler colonial project that is implementing and getting practically applied on us as the Palestinians. Palestinian, we are by our own self and with a few numbers of solidarity activists that who are able to come are beside us in the ground. Otherwise, there is no one beside. We are facing this whole big regime and system full of armed settlers, armed occupation army, and police. They are all together backing each other, supporting each other to evict us from the land. They try they support settlers to steal the land. They support settlers to commit crimes. When Palestinians defend themselves, the Palestinians get arrested, detained, sent to prisons, sent to jail. We shouldn't touch. So they want now to put a lot of control in the land, and it's already very hard and very tough moment, as there is many expansions, especially after October.
Mm-hmm. And for that, you mean expansions of settlements that were already there and are bigger, or also new settlements?
There is, in general, the expansion is a new thing, which is it's expansion mean from a part of a settlement is just jumping to the mountains and the lands and the areas around the settlement to take more of it. So some of them are new expansion, most of them, and some of them are new point that get close established between villages and communities. But most of them, yes, expansion for settlements and outposts.
How often are there settlers attacks today?
Almost daily. The life is almost face to face with settler. My house is one really like my house a few meters away from the settlement and from my land, and every day there is harassment, attacks, clashes with settlers in Masafer Yatta. If not in Twani, in Mufaggara, in not Mufaggara, another village, but every day with army and settlers, as the settlement and the settlers and the army are now just cutting in the middle, in between the villages and the communities, and every day facing with our people, with us, and harassing us.
And how does the youth of Masafer Yatta, Youth of Sumud, for example, but also the solidarity activists that you were saying that also are there, how do you resist? How do you collectively kind of organize your day-to-day to kind of defend the land and defend the people from the settlers' attacks?
We are a people who are believing in our full rights, even if everyone give up and left us alone. We are the one who are continuing to hold the resistance and the existence in the land until the last breath. We are believing very well in our own land and our own right, that this is an occupation colonial project and we should remain and exist and resist until the last breath. This is a full belief that we have in Masafer Yatta. And this is a big success because in the community of Masafer Yatta itself, few people left since October 7th, and we were having the shooting and the fire under our heads, but no one left. Everyone, with all this scary, with all this danger, with all this terrorism, people are still there. We have a very strong determination and also a very strong community that it is all united in one decision, which is to remain in the land. And then will come the work of us as a youth, as activists in the area, how to support this existence and this resilience and this resistance in the ground from different initiatives and different ways. We are talking about very big strategic ways and choices that we have been taking and doing. We are in partnership as Youth of Sumud with a Palestinian organization called Stop the Wall. And we have been working in renovation of caves since the decision of the eviction. Then more organizations joined to help the work. Then we moved to another step to dig the caves. Caves that doesn't exist. Why caves? Why caves? First of all, caves are heritage in Masafer Yatta. Second of all, some families have cave and other families doesn't have cave. Why we talk about this topic? But because and why we talk about renovation or digging and creating new caves? They are the shelters. Families doesn't have shelters if the home got demolished. And we were thinking about how to support the strength and the people to have shelters in case of demolition. And the decision was, and the idea of us was, is to dig the new caves. The occupation military have no excuse in demolishing the caves. Why? Because according to the occupation military law, everything above 1 meter high is considered a structure. So we went again, like the Middle Age, to go to dig in the ground. And we already dig 2 caves. We finished them fully with the floor, with everything, with the door for 2 families. We moved to the other one for a community that it is receiving and received demolition order for every single structure and home. Like they want to wipe the community. But now the process is going. The occupation, no, there is something going on. Even they cannot have anything like, because it's not a structure, to stop it, but they wanna know what's going on because they're gonna stop it. They went to the village where we were working. They confiscated the drills that they didn't even find the work, but they found in a house some drills and generator, and they confiscate them.
Mm-hmm.
They confiscate them. Why? Because they know there is something, but they don't know what's exactly going on. And this is very good, and this is very important. And when we say this is a strategy, this is one of the things we do as a collective and for our people to support the strength. We got them the tools, we got them the generators, we got them the drills. Also, when we go to village of Mufaggara, like there was the attack in 2021, attack that was a massive attack. They destroy everything in the community. They throw from the windows, they throw the stones, they destroyed the cars, they was shooting, everything. Children were hiding inside the house from the stoning, in the stone going inside the houses. One of the child of like 3-4 years old, skull was just broken. And as a collective and as Youth of Sumud, like, what can we do beside when we ran in the moment? We try to be with the community, we try to defend with the people, to kick the settlers out. And me, my group, and my people of my community. So when there's settlers attacks, we run, we go, we are with the community, we not leave them alone, But after that, how we can be a little bit strategic to give kind of protection, okay? So we started with the idea as Youth of Sumud, we have to full community with windows protection with full of metals for any case of attacks, that these children, at least inside the house, would be a little bit of safety. And that's what happened, and the project we implemented. Also, like these days in Twani, we were working for the houses are very near to the settlement, fully, because now it's very dangerous. And we already did 4 houses, and it's with the most near houses to the settlement, fully protected. And because this is like the easy and simple things we try to do that will help the people to remain. So I'm telling you just a few examples of the things, but also we have a very nice community which is very connected and very united. If someone got sick, away from the occupation, you find everyone from the community is going to visit him. If someone is having a wedding, he got his son married in the villages, everyone go there and celebrate the happy moment. Even if there is attacks, everyone will go and will help the family and will not leave the family alone. Even after the attack, family will continue. All the community joining when the family, for example, that was mainly targeted. The community is very ordered, beautiful, amazing, having its own tradition from many years ago, protecting this little beautiful, pure connection that it's also there, that create its own borders. As you live in Area C, you have no government. It's under the full Israeli occupation control. We have just the army raiding, invading, destroying, arresting. But still, with all of this, we have our own society that organize and order us, order the life, order everything between us without having any police or anyone that should tell us this is right and this is wrong, this is legal, this is illegal.
Another one of those mutual aid initiatives that you also do in Masafer Yatta is the escorting the children to school. This is one of the things that we talked about in the piece O que é normal em Masafer Yatta. How do the children get to school now?
Since October, the children of Tuba and Magher al-Abid had to change school because the military stopped bringing and accompanying the children to school. Part of this story of the kids, there was part of the way with the army, other part we had to follow and control, but then as the army stopped, to accompany children. But just to confirm to you something, it doesn't mean that the Israeli army, usually people take, the Israeli army are very good and they are accompanying Palestinian children to school. And always people will consider this because the Israelis are good. The Israelis are not good. The Israelis are occupiers, okay? They are extremists, they're killers. There is the children of Tuba, they are 6 years old, 7, 8, young children, The soldiers were telling in our faces that I am protecting the settlers from you, and they are the settlers, and telling this to the young Palestinian children. So it's not something Israel was doing it because they are good. Israel was doing this because there was a pressure on Israel, and they want to show the good face that they are good. That's why they used this issue of the patrol of the kids. And the first thing they did, they just dropped the company of the kids. The first thing they did, they stopped. They don't care if Palestinian children.
After the 7th of October?
Yes, they don't care if the Palestinians don't go to school because they are Palestinian children. Anyway, the children had to change school from coming to Tuwani. They have to go to another school in another village in Masafer Yatta. And again, the settler went and harassed the children. We didn't expect something like this can happen. But a few days ago, Moody, my brothers, and some of the team are following the company. And it's one of the things that also, like with international activists, we organize programs of a company and going with shepherds and going with farmers and going with school children that go to school. This is part of the daily life should go in a better way, but because we are under occupation, it's everything different, everything full of danger, full of terrorism and scary thing, to try to provide kind of civil protection. In the end, we are all Palestinian. The occupation doesn't, and the occupation army, settler doesn't recognize between a Palestinian, young or old. Even the international who stand beside the Palestinian, also they get beaten. They don't also recognize also between them. They just target these children, target everyone. Why? Because they don't want to see us there.
At the Popular Struggle Coordination Committee that you are also part of, you've worked on the Feza campaign for the last few months. What is it and how is it going?
One of the programs of civil protection is Feza campaign that we launched several years ago, that was mainly and specifically in the olive season to help farmers who cannot go to their land near settlements, to help them to accompany to harvest their land and trees and collect their olives. We have been doing this many years ago. I'm the head of the PSSC, and we were one of the main founder of we are the founder actually of this campaign, and then we have other people who helped us in doing it. We targeted a lot of places. We have been attacked with our international activists and everything. But Faz'a campaign this year started earlier as the international protection is something needed and urgent with all the war. Israel didn't declare the war after 7th of October only on Gaza. Israel declared the war against all the Palestinians in 48, in West Bank, in Gaza, and the F-16 were shooting in north of West Bank. So just to let you know, there's hundreds of martyrs in the West Bank since 7th of October until this moment. Eviction and all of this. So the wars against all the Palestinians, and this is why it was important to have the international presence before the olive harvest, even to be in communities like Qusra and other communities. Qusra is a very targeted place by these criminal settlers and army. It was important to maintain presence there as there is of international as a kind of protection. And activists also were going in demonstrations like in Beta, and you know about the Turkish American martyr. She was shot and killed. She was part of the international solidarity movement and also part of Faza.
Yeah. It was Ayşenur Ezgi Egi.
Yes.
She was shot in the head in Beta while being in a protest in September. It's not very frequent that international activists are killed in the West Bank. Were you surprised that this happened?
Today we are in a moment that Israel doesn't care about anyone in this world. Israel is doing what they want. And this is why international activists get shot and killed. That's why Palestinians get bombed and killed, and no one cares about Palestinians, because we see today Israel can do all of this and no one can tell no to Israel. That's why Israel continuing to this. International are important in presence because Israel also, beside all of this, they want to maintain an image of Israel that they are nice and they are democracy and they are everything. But the reality, when people come and live and with the Palestinian and see the Palestinian life under occupation, Israelis doesn't like this. They have to do solutions for this problem of these internationals who come and see the situation by their own eyes, because in propaganda and in media Israel is perfect, but in the ground this is the reality. So it will be something against each other, so they have to find a solution for it for the people who come there. So otherwise they arrest them, otherwise they deport them, or the third option is to kill them. So this is also the Palestinian doesn't have a lot of option. Otherwise prison, otherwise killed. This is for the Palestinian, but for the international solidarity activists, they have three options: arrest or deportation or killing. And this is like, it's few, but it's happening. You know, it's happening. They do. Settlers beat, and many times, dozens of people went to ICU from settlers attacks. They were almost dead. But with all this, you know, we see even everyone who stands with Palestinians, even if he is from the West or he's from wherever, not real things taking against Israel. People continue to justify these things under the random attacks and mistakes and as a justification for Israel, because the West also justify a lot all the time for Israel. But they don't know this is a program of ethnic cleansing that target every Palestinian and every person who support the Palestinian people. Mm-hmm. And it's a good lesson for people outside when they are outside here supporting Palestine. What's the consequences? You're gonna pay a price, even you are, because one thing, because you are doing, which is you are standing in the right side of the history, which is beside the Palestinian people, beside the victim of the occupation. Israel like the rule of being the occupation and the occupier and the strong, in the same time the victim. It doesn't work. This is how Israel is working since decades. On every single daily basis are in front of everyone. And if you try to say anything, you are accused by anti-Semitism or by anything, in order that also outside they threat you to not say anything about them. No, like you cannot commit crimes and hide behind crimes, and in the end of the day to say that you are a victim, and because this is crime or crimes. Israel is an occupation. Israel is not better than Russia. Palestine is Ukraine. You cannot mix things. You cannot make double standard to blind people and make things unclear. Things are easy and clear and they are there. But still, the Israelis will want to defend themselves in this way and defend their crime and brutality. And this is not fair. Not fair, because to be scared from Israel for the attacks with that they use against everyone.
How did the olive harvest go this year?
This year is one of the bloodiest olive harvests ever. Why? Since the beginning of the season, a Palestinian lady near Jenin, she was shot and killed by the Israeli occupation just for harvesting her olives. And this was just the beginning, and several other attacks. A lot of people were forbidden from going to their land. The year before was completely, which was 2023. A lot of people didn't go there. This year, it's really, really few and bloody, and it's so bad. Yes.
You are arriving at the end of a court case that had you convicted for assault of a soldier and also obstructing a soldier during duty. We talk about that in that piece, O que é normal em Masafer Yatta. At the moment, you are waiting for just the sentencing. You were convicted, and now you're waiting for the sentence. It could be up to I think 12 years in jail. When will you know about this, and what do you think will happen?
Right now, I had in the 26th of September a court that should be in that court. The punishment decision should be issued. The military judge of the Israeli occupation court of Ofar postponed the decision to the next court hearing, which is 25 of November, that we are coming to it soon. Yes, I am convicted with 2 crimes, which is assaulting Israeli soldiers and organizing illegal demonstrations. And yes, assaulting soldiers can reach years of prison. The decision was, and the conduction was based on, as the judge said, on an honest testimony from the army, from the soldiers. And so it's always like this, that the soldiers are the one in front of you in this military court. So as a Palestinian, I'm talking, and always you are in the weak side and unbelieved side.
In a military court,
the
judge is a soldier, the prosecutor is a soldier,
exactly.
The
translator is a soldier. Everything there is a soldier, except we are the civil part there with our lawyer. We is the Palestinians, I mean.
Do you think he'll go to prison?
You never know. You never know. And what I am sure about it is that if the court decision is not going to be a direct jail, it's going to be something called that there will be a decision for prison ready if I commit the crime again or such crime.
Like suspended sentence.
Suspended sentence. This is exactly what is it. And this is even more scary and dangerous, because just before, I mean, just to go back a little bit before, my court was 26th of September. I was released. 3 days later, I was arrested for no reason. So it's like, even if this is not going to happen in the prison in this court session, it means that it's going to be easy, just in any moment the army want, or the settler soldiers now want, they just come and take me and they say I beat them. The same thing, already the same court process I am going through now, which is based in lies and just in soldiers speak and complaints against us, against me. So it's really scary and danger, and it aim in the end of the day to put us in a really locked position that you don't know what to do, where I should go, what I have to do right now. But it's all because of the place we come from, and that we should just now get running away from there and go in a place that we shouldn't see the military, We shouldn't see anyone. This is what they goal and they aim from what they are doing, and inshallah, this is never gonna happen.
How many times have you been detained in your life?
A lot. It's honestly a lot of times, and at least 10 times I have been arrested and I have been detained. And
How old are you?
I'm 27.
I don't know if this is too difficult for you, but I wanted to ask you if you could describe the last time you were detained in October. And it's obviously okay if you don't want to.
I wrote an article about my 972 magazine about my last arrest on the 29th of September. It was a very scary arrest and terrorism. I was kidnapped from the my house yard from home in a military jeep. I was blindfolded. I was taken to a place by in the Israeli soldiers' jeep. In this place, I was on the floor, on the ground somewhere. Seems like a military base. It was full of humiliating soldiers, spitting, insulting very badly at me, and there was the soldiers with dogs coming towards me, putting dogs barking and coming closer to me and touching me. I was threatened again. Soldiers go away, then they come back with the dogs, and it's a whole. And then they throw me far away from the house, I don't know, like 10 kilometers, and they released me blindfolded, and luckily I managed to call my family, and they came and picked me up. It was 4-hour arrest, about 4 hours.
Wow.
The whole part was, again, that I shouldn't feel safe, I shouldn't feel safe, that's all. I should be always terrified and terrorized.
That's their goal, you say?
That's their goal.
Since the 7th of October, more than 10,000 Palestinians have been detained. In 2023, almost 10,000 administrative detentions orders have been issued. These are basically detentions where the detainee isn't provided with evidence or trial or even an accusation for security reasons, and can be detained indefinitely. What is happening in the Zionist prisons?
The prison is one of the most really bad places to be at. And to be in Israeli prison, it's even much worse as a Palestinian. As they deal with all the Palestinians and they see the Palestinian all as a criminals. And this is how the Israeli mentality goes. And since you got in prison before even 7th of October, I was in prison. I was beaten. And my first time when I was 15, I was used to be beaten, getting scared by the soldiers, and passing through different experiences. But the thing, after October, the prison became more nightmare, according to all what Palestinians are telling us. Our friend Munder Amira, 30 kilograms, just lost. There's no food. There is cold. There is a lot of torture and beating and raids and tear gassing the prisons where Palestinians are staying. A lot of things from Palestinians have been taken away, the cooking gas, whatever. The phones, they were not allowed to call. People have been for months, they never called, they never did anything. So the prison right now is a very, very big nightmare for all the Palestinians, rape, as you saw in the TV, the news. It's really now very scary, the Israeli jails for Palestinians.
Yeah. Your collective in Masafer Yatta is called Youth of Sumud. What does Sumud mean for you?
Sumud means the existence, and the exact meaning and direct translation is steadfastness. Sumud means resilience. Sumud means the existence. In Masafer Yatta, we call ourselves, in the struggle that every time, we are here, our presence is really means existence is the resistance for the land, for protecting the land, defending the land. And also all these great sacrifices and patience and with all this unjust situation. People in Masafer Yatta live without. Villages have no electricity, no water. Recently, some solar system, some things, but there is no road. Homes with threat of demolishing, some confiscation of cars, checkpoint. This whole nightmare, difficult life situation. It's an environment for one thing. It's leave and eviction, but we are there. We're still this. This is Sumud. This is the resistance and resilience. And this youth of Sumud. This youth came from this area, from this great history, and from this great struggle. That is part of this community, and will be always the same path of the community that choose and will follow on.
Mm. Do you have more hope for liberation today than you had before the 7th of October?
I'm always hopeful. A person, because really, as Palestinian, it's been, one of the longest occupation in history we have been going through. And it's since this history, it's just all the time, even before 7th of October, it's just all the time looks darker, darker and darker. Because of the Israeli practices in the ground, and also from the international silence of these crimes we face and we live and we go through. And we never lose hope. And we see things are getting more difficult, but always we believe that this is having an end, and soon this is going to end. We should just remain strong.
شكرا كتير. Thank you so much. Pouco tempo depois desta entrevista, no final de novembro de 2023, Sami Huraini deslocou-se à prisão Tribunal Militar de Ofer para saber a sentença do processo judicial de que nos ouviste falar. Foi condenado a uma pena de 1 mês de prisão, suspensa por 1 ano.
This means that in 1 year, if I committed one of the charges that I was condemned with, and I get arrested, I will go to a prison for 1 month in any time in this year. So it's really decision that if I get arrested, I will go to jail. And we can see, that it's very bad decision because the army, in September, they came to my house after 3 days of my court, so they arrest me, and this can happen at any moment, interrupting soldiers' work or getting close to soldiers, go to demonstration or participate in demonstration or assault soldiers. All this can bring me to the prison, and it's easy for the army to lie. So it's a really, really big lie and very big, worrying. And all the time I will be in fear and worrying. The other hand, that it's now it started this court in 2021. Now it's 2024, and it will be for another suspended sentence for 1 year more. And all this because I protested. I reject this regime of the occupation, this killing of the occupation of the Palestinian without accountability. In the end, I was for standing for our rights, for our friend and neighbor Haroun Abu Aram. I was in prison, I was in court, and the killers and the soldiers remain free, are not facing anything and not any consequences. This is the hard and the painful reality under the Israeli occupation.
Esta entrevista foi preparada por mim, Ricardo Esteves Ribeiro. O Nuno Viegas fez a edição, o som é do Bernardo Afonso, a fotografia é de Joana Teresa Batista. Faz ainda parte da equipa Fumaça Fred Rocha, Lucas Guerrimou de Freitas, Luís Marquês, Maria Almeida e Margarida David Cardoso. Nas últimas semanas, quase uma centena de pessoas juntou-se à comunidade Fumaça, depois de ouvir a nossa mais recente série, Quase da Família, sobre trabalho doméstico. Mas falta muito para chegarmos à sustentabilidade. Se ainda não começaste a série, vai ouvir. E se já ouviste, junta-te à comunidade Fumaça e garanto que podemos continuar a fazer jornalismo de investigação. Em 2025 vem uma nova série sobre a Palestina e uma outra sobre policiamento. Temos uma campanha a correr por aí até dia 6 de fevereiro. Queremos conseguir chegar às 2.000 pessoas na comunidade Fumaça. Precisamos que tu e mais 300 pessoas criem uma nova contribuição mensal ou anual. Se tiveres essa disponibilidade, vai a fumaca.pt/contribuir agora e faz uma contribuição. A comunidade Fumaça já paga 45% do nosso orçamento. O resto, este ano, é coberto por bolsas da Fred e da Limelight Foundation. Os contratos estão em fumaca.pt/transparência. Até já.